Hey guys, welcome back to another video. So today's video is about my trip to Ontario, where I visited Fort Malden, which was a fort back in the War of 1812. It was on the British side, so technically I was in enemy territory. And while I was there, I dressed semi-historically accurate. I dressed 1700s-y, even though it was the 1810s when that fort was really active, but I did look it up and it was built in the 1790s. So I'm not too far off. It was definitely a really fun experience to be dressed up in period clothing whilst there. There was a good amount of people there that were dressed era accurate as well, but they were usually volunteers or employees at the fort. Nonetheless, it was still a really fun experience. So, without further ado, here's the rest of the video.
The most important thing that I had to do before I left for my trip was to alter my costume. I had to do various things, like I had to hem the pants so that they were around the knee so I could get that lovely 1700s pants look. And I also had to adjust the jacket size, so I had to take it apart, and then I had to re-sew the sleeves on. But after I sewed the sleeves on, they ended up looking really weird and poofy and just not well attached, so I had to go back in later at night and fix that.
We are going to Amherstburg, Ontario, to Fort Malden, which I just Googled on it, and it was built in the 1790s, and it was a fort for the War of 1812. So, me dressing very 1700s-y is kind of not era accurate, which is why I titled the video what I did. But trust that I don't care and I'll be singing Hamilton because it's less than a decade of margin off. Look around, how lucky we are to be alive right now. That's Lin-Manuel Miranda for you. But anyways, we're leaving in the morning, and turns out what I did to fix it actually made it worse and even more poofy of a sleeve, so I had to go back in and redo what I already did, which was make a further in stitch, but this time I made it an even further in stitch, and then it fixed it more. I swear it's good. It's good, okay?
After that, I packed up the rest of my outfit, and then we were headed from Pawnee, Indiana, all the way to Windsor, Ontario, where we were staying with a family friend. So I threw all of my stuff, even my slippers, onto the bed so I could get this really weird shot of me collapsing.
Canada is how America looks in movies.
After transforming like Wonder Woman, we then headed over to Fort Malden in Amherstburg, which is just south of Windsor, Ontario. We enter through the visitor center where they have the gift shop, and then once you purchase your ticket, you walk on through the building out to some booth areas that are set up by local organizations. Fort Malden is located on the Detroit River, so you have a beautiful waterfront scenery to look at and gaze upon and frolic to your heart's desire. Throughout the grounds of the fort, you're walking on a path and there's many tents around you with different areas set up, such as this weapons table that I got to look at. The atmosphere of the entire place was so immersive and fun to be around. I was just vibing the whole time. There was a plethora of different tents that you could go to learn about different parts of society back at the fort when it was active.
Imagine this isn't a historical reenactment. This is actually just a secret underground time traveler meetup, and people from the 1700s, 1800s, and 1940s all just meet up and they like hang out until they go back to their time.
200 years ago, at the fort, they would fire cannons so that the soldiers could synchronize their clocks. Well, 200 years later, here they are reenacting that for us when we don't have to synchronize our clocks. So I guess it's just for no reason.
Oh, they're bringing in reinforcement.
Fire!
Hey, Editor Griffin here, and I'm currently looking at the footage of the cannon, and take a look at this. There's literally only one frame of the fire blast, but for a split second, it's exploding. But it's so fast that my camera doesn't even pick up any more than just this one frame of it. They're not even moving, look at that. It's like they're a photo.
After we finished watching the cannons, we walked over to this main house-looking building.
Hi, Architectural Digest. Welcome to my home. Come inside.
The building we went into was the main museum, and it was called the Hoe House. Oh wait, hold on just a second. Oh, it was called the Huff House. Okay. So many fascinating artifacts and displays filled the house, including outfits, weapons, furniture, and more.
You'll be back, soon you'll see. You'll remember you belong to me. You'll be back, time will tell.
You guys know that I love role-playing when I'm in museums, so here's a little short film that I made. As I saunter through these hallowed halls of Huff Manor, I recollect how warm, lively, and unique this house of mine once was. But now, scores have gone by, leaving the house a shell, seldom of the quaint charm it once possessed. The walls I once limbed as vibrant are coated with millennial grey. The furniture I once lounged in are roped off, and the windows I would use to watch for redcoats are, well nigh the same in all honesty. Oh, Huff Manor, when did your hospitable allure get torn asunder in my absence, and superseded with a meager air-conditioned museum? I am 250-odd years of age, and yet this just might strike the first nail into my eagerly awaiting casket. To quote William Shakespeare, how must one journey home if their home hath been renovated by millennial contractors? Don't look that quote up, it's true. Trust me, I'm from the 1700s. After departing Huff House, we walked around the grounds to look at more of the buildings on the property.
Wow, I really love what they've done with the place.
I took a peek inside this tent that was for high-ranking officers, and I made myself at home, and I just, got a little comfortable. After leaving the tent, I was then enchanted by this amazing flute playing from across the field. Then we walked over to the demonstration they had of all the different instruments used in the military back in the 1800s. Then I popped inside the building and looked at the quarters of where the soldiers would sleep. Then I gave myself a very healthy dose of frolicking around. The next demonstration was kinda out of left field because it was Romans.
An ordinary human arm can't pull the bowstring far enough to get the kind of distance we can. So you're using torsion power, and a ratchet system brings back the arrow. So as you can see, we don't have a rate of fire of a modern gun, but
They eventually did get out some era-accurate soldiers and weapons and fired those as well.
Back in the day, they did not have ramps like this for wheelchair accessibility. However, this was installed after Franklin Delano Roosevelt visited the fort back in the 1940s, and he had a wheelchair. So they installed this for him so he could enjoy the fort while on his Canadian ambassador visit. So over here, we have a little Roman encampment, but obviously this is not historically accurate because it wasn't called Amherstburg. It was called Amherstium 2,000 years ago when the Romans settled here, and they had a thriving metropolis here, and this is significant of the old Amherstium that used to be here in southern Ontario.
This is the Canadian flag as we know it today. However, back in the 1800s, they would just use the Union Jack because Canada didn't exist. So, one day when they were making a Union Jack flag, a piece of red, white, and another piece of red fabric were laid side by side, and a Canadian maple leaf flew in through the window and landed on the white fabric, creating the rough image of the flag that we know today. When Canada became a nation, they pitched it to the government, and then they created the final project in Canva.
So what you see right here is the cookhouse, and you'll notice that its walls are very non-existent. That's because it was unfortunately renovated by Chip and Joanna Gaines a few years ago, and now it is open concept kitchen.
Well, I had finished my day at Fort Malden, learning history and looking historical while doing it. I unfortunately still looked historical whilst I was at the fabric store that I went to afterwards.
Well, I hope you liked my video at Fort Malden. I sure did. Anyways, if you'd like to see more videos like this in the future, hit that like Anyways, if you'd like to see more videos like this in the future, hit that like and subscribe button, and comment down below if you've ever been to Canada before. That's it.